Government wants to ensure health service for all, says Dr. Zubaida, adding that initiatives being taken for laggard health service. MPO enlisted teachers warn of stronger agitation to press home 8-point demands. Crack in Pothenga approach road, pedestrian dies in Rangamati due to heavy rain. You were watching Mercantile Bank headlines. Now the details. You are with me, Moushumi Shanta. Vice President of Ziaur Rahman Foundation, Dr. Zubaida Rahman, has said the government is committed to ensuring quality healthcare for every citizen. She made the remark at a workshop in the capital on Tuesday. She said the government aims to harness the idea and innovation of young people to strengthen the healthcare sector and is also considering providing them with specialist training. Addressing the program, Finance Minister Amir Khusru Mahmood Chaudhary said country's public healthcare system continues to lag behind in some areas, but the government is working to address those shortcomings. In the program, Health Minister Sardar Shakwat Hossain said the government's preparation and the response to dengue this year are stronger than previous year.
So that no one is ruined paying medical bills and
Teachers and employees under the monthly pay order MPO scheme have warned of launching tougher protest programs if their 8-point demand, including the nationalization of their jobs, is not fulfilled. They claim they have long been subjected to discrimination. Speaking at a press conference at National Press Club, the speaker said it is imperative to implement their 8-point demand, which includes nationalization of MPO-listed educational institutions, inclusion in the 9th National Pay Scale, and raising the retirement age to 65. They also called for an end to the deputation of government teachers to non-government institutions, the introduction for a prompt transfer system, full festival allowance, government stranded house rent benefits, and the speedy disbursement of the retirement and welfare fund payments. Continuous heavy rainfall has heightened the risk of landslides in Bandarban, Rangamati, and Teknaf, prompting local authorities to issue warnings for residents living in vulnerable areas. A total of 424 emergency shelters have been opened in Bandarban and Rangamati. However, many residents remain reluctant to leave their home despite the risk. Relentless rainfall has turned the Shangu River turbulent, increasing concerns over landslides in the hilly regions of Bandarban, where many people continue to live in high-risk areas. Authorities have kept 220 shelters ready across the district's 7 upazilas. Meanwhile, all tourist attractions in Bandarban will remain closed until next Friday. In Rangamati, the administration has identified more than 100 landslide locations. Heavy rainfall has caused widespread waterlogging in several low-lying areas of Chattogram city. After 2 days of continuous downpours, knee-deep water has inundated many neighborhoods, and villages in some areas of flooding has risen to waist level. Among the worst affected locations are Chowk Bazar, Katulganj, and Agrabad, leaving residents struggling to move around the city. The waterlogging has disrupted daily life, causing major hardship for office workers, students, and day laborers traveling since morning. According to the Pothenga Meteorological Office, 330.8 millimeters of rainfall was recorded in Pothenga until 9 a.m. National Citizen Party (NCP) has demanded that those responsible for the cocktail attack on its merchant server be brought to justice within 48 hours. Speaking at a brief rally following a protest procession against the attack, party leaders said the government's failure to ensure the security of the July movement's leadership represents a major lapse. They also called for justice against those involved in the attack and demanded that the withdrawal of the law enforcement personnel who were on duty in Savar at the time of the incident. Earlier in the evening, NCP organized a torch procession in the capital in protest against the attack. The march began at the Bangla Motor and ended at Shahbag. Lawyer Dr. Shofiqur Rahman, representing Citizens for Good Governance, has said the 15th Amendment to the Constitution was enacted through an awkward process and fundamentally altered the character of the Constitution. He made the remark on Monday after the first day of the Appellate Division hearing on appeals challenging a High Court verdict that declared the 15th Amendment, which abolished the caretaker government system, to be unconstitutional. Speaking on behalf of Sujan following the hearing, Dr. Sharif Bhuiya reiterated the amendment was passed through on non-transported process and changed the constitutional character of the state. A mother and her young son have been killed after a pickup truck rammed into their motorcycle in Birganj Upazila of Dinajpur. Two more people lost their lives in separate road accidents on Kumilla-Noakhali Regional Highway. Dinajpur police say the road crash occurred at dawn in Panchpir area of Bhoganagar Union in Dinajpur, Thakurga Highway. Biker Nazmul Islam was travelling to the Thakurga from Birganj on a motorcycle with his wife and son when a pickup truck struck them from the behind near Panchpir. His wife Fahima Akhtar and their son Abdullah were killed on the spot, while Nazmul sustained critical injuries and was admitted to Birganj Upazila Health Complex. Also on the day, a woman was killed after being hit by a bus while crossing the road at Khila Bazar on Kumilla-Noakhali Regional Highway. And another person died when a bus crashed into the near of truck to the Netrapura. Today marks the 10th anniversary of the militant attacks at Sholakia Idgah in Kishorganj, while the trial of the case continues to move slowly due to legal complications. On this day in 2016, militants attacked a police security checkpoint as worshippers are preparing for Eid prayers at Sholakia Idgah. The attack left 5 people dead, including 2 people officers, 1 homemaker and 2 militants. According to the state prosecutor, 3 accused are currently in custody. The court has scheduled the next hearing for the recording of witness testimony on September 7 this year. Families of the victims and local residents have called for the trial to be concluded without further delay. At least 26 people, including 7 prison officers, have been killed in a prison riot in western Sri Lanka. More than 100 others were injured as security forces moved to bring the situation under control. The violence broke out at Negombo prison north of Colombo after clashes between 2 groups of inmates on Sunday. During the unrest, several prisoners reportedly seized weapons from prison guards and climbed onto the prison's roof, demanding their release. The situation escalated on Monday as security forces launched an operation to regain control. Authorities said the riot was triggered by a dispute linked to the exposure of a prison drug trafficking network. Part of the prison roof also collapsed during the violence. The body of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been taken to the holy city of Qom. A second funeral prayer was held for him and several members of his family at the Jamkara Masjid. Thousands of mourners gathered in the holy city of Qom to pay their final respects to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. His body was brought to the Jamkaran Mosque, where a second funeral prayer was held for him and members of his family. Religious leaders, government officials and supporters attended the ceremony. The event marked another reported stage in Iran's national mourning as crowds continue to honor the country's long-time supreme leader. US President Donald Trump was warned Iran to either reach a new agreement with the United States or face serious consequences. Trump said US could quickly target Iran's power plants, bridges and other key infrastructure if military action becomes necessary. However, he stressed that Washington wants a peaceful solution through talks and does not want to harm Iran's 90 million people. Meanwhile, Iran condemned Trump's warning, saying even the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei would only strengthen the country's ideals. At least 20 people have been killed and 46 others injured after Russia launched a large-scale missile and drone attack across Ukraine just ahead of NATO summit. The heaviest damage was reported in Kiev, where 14 people were killed and more than a dozen residential buildings were damaged. Ukraine officials said Russia launched 68 missiles and 351 drones in overnight strikes, triggering explosions across the capital. Following the attacks, thousands of residents took shelter in underground bunkers as air raid sirens sounded throughout the night. The attack came just one day after Zelensky warned that Russia could intensify its assaults ahead of NATO summit. The death toll from the devastating earthquake in Venezuela has risen to 3,535, 12 days after the disaster. However, more than 3,500 people have died in the earthquake, while 16,740 others have been injured. Nearly 7,854 people have been left homeless by the disaster. Although rescue officials believe there are no more survivors trapped beneath the rubble, many families continue to wait in hope that the missing relatives will be found alive.